Jackson Sterling wasn't just wealthy. He was a titan of Wall Street, a man whose name was synonymous with ruthless efficiency. At 65, standing in his glass penthouse overlooking the neon veins of Manhattan, he realized he was surrounded by everything but had nothing. His life was a collection of expensive suits and associates waiting for him to fall, so they could carve up his empire. On a stormy Friday night in rural Pennsylvania, Jackson decided to play one final game. He traded his bespoke suit for a threadbare jacket, drove a beat-up pickup truck, and pulled into a lonely roadside diner. The kind of place where the neon sign hums too loud and the air smells of burnt coffee and old regrets. The diner was nearly empty, the silence broken only by a jukebox playing a low, mournful country song. A waitress named Clara approached. She wasn't young. Time had etched lines around her eyes, but her smile possessed a warmth that didn't belong in such a cold place. Jackson put on his best act, the bitter, entitled old man. He complained about the lukewarm coffee, grumbled that the steak was like shoe leather, and intentionally spilled his water, but Clara didn't flinch. She cleaned the mess with a grace that silenced his inner critic, brought him a fresh, steaming plate, and whispered, "Don't worry, sir. We all have days when the world feels against us. I hope this meal turns things around for you." Jackson watched her closely. Between serving tables, Clara sat at the counter, frantically scribbling figures on napkins, calculating electric bills and her son's tuition. He could see the weight of poverty on her shoulders. When the $15 bill arrived, Jackson pulled out a crumpled $5 bill. He placed it on the table with a handwritten note. "Service was pathetic. This is all you're worth." He stood up and walked out into the pouring rain, but he didn't leave. He lingered by the fogged-up window, waiting for the outburst, the anger, the inevitable collapse of her spirit. Suddenly, the diner door swung open. "Sir, wait!" Clara shouted, breathless, her hair soaked in seconds. She held out the $5 bill. "You forgot your change, and please, take this." She handed him her own spare raincoat. "You're shivering, and it's a long walk to the bus station in this weather." Jackson froze, the rain washing away his mask. "Do you know what I wrote about you? I insulted you, Clara. Why are you doing this?" She gave a tired but beautiful smile. "Mr. Sterling, I saw your name on your old veteran's card. Sometimes people are only sharp because they're breaking inside. I don't work for tips. I work so my son knows that even when the world is cold, we don't have to be." When he asked what she'd do with real money, she didn't wish for jewelry or cars. She said, "I'd build a music center for the foster kids in this town. Music is the only thing that tells them they aren't invisible." 2 weeks later, the quiet diner was swarmed by a fleet of black SUVs. Jackson Sterling stepped out, dressed in the finest silk, looking every bit the king he was. The room went silent. He walked to the counter and placed a legal folder in front of Clara. "Clara, you were right. I spent my life building walls, and I forgot how to build bridges. These are the deeds to the Clara and Sterling Music Conservatory. It's fully funded, and you are the CEO." Tears blurred Clara's vision as she looked at the man she once thought was a beggar. Jackson took the original napkin, the one where he had written those cruel words, flipped it over and signed his new will. "That $5 was the cheapest test I ever ran," he said softly. "But your heart, Clara. Your heart is the only thing in this world that's truly priceless." Closing message. In a world where we're told that net worth is everything, remember this. Your true wealth isn't measured by what you keep, but by the lives you change just by being kind.